Okay, now it's the time we are moving forward to module number 3, which is develop a generative AI chat app with Microsoft Foundry. Basically, this is the first module in which we'll focus on developing code with Python. And when we are dealing with that, we will be obviously using our models, which are available in Microsoft Foundry model catalog. Now, let's understand one thing first, which is model playground. I hope you have seen model playground in the previous lab videos, which I have shown you, and you have tried this with the specific language models. As you can see in this particular screen, I'm showing you model playground, which is having GPT 5.2 chat, which is basically a language model selected for this. You will be having two different sections inside this. You can see right now, if you want to do interactive model testing, then you can provide instructions, which is basically what I count as a system prompt. And then right side, you have a box where you can provide chat with model kind of an option is here, which is basically going to provide user prompt inside that. Now, the system message and user prompt kind of a message which you're providing here is something which you'll be able to check it here. Also, remember, when you're dealing with this playground, you will be able to have some kind of a section there, which is called code. This code is going to show you sample code where you will be able to see what kind of code samples are available with two different API options, which are basically chat completion API and responses API. Now, while developing a code using a generative AI, these are the two different APIs which are available. Chat completions API is little older one and responses API is a new one. When you click on this code section, you will be able to see these two different kind of syntaxes. Now, if you ask me, syntax wise, more or less is going to look similar. But responses API is something which is much better from a performance point of view. And I'm going to explain this thing in the coming slides. Also, when you click on the code section, you will be getting different kind of programming language choices available. You will be getting code in C Sharp, Python, JavaScript, kind of a similar codes with that. And it's also going to show you how you can develop this particular generative AI applications using REST-based API model, or maybe using a software development kit available with this. You will be building and trying all these things with your model playground. And remember, this model playground is available for almost every model which is available in your model catalog. So you can try and taste this model playground without writing a single line of code. That's the first good thing. Let's focus on choosing an endpoint and SDK. When you're dealing with most of the generative AI applications, people are not able to understand that which project endpoint and what kind of an SDK I want to associate with that. And that's the reason you can see right now, I want you to understand this particular slide to take the decision. Most of the time, when you're connecting with the Foundry project, you're going to have a Foundry project endpoint available on the home page of the Foundry. I'm going to show you this thing in my lab. But when you're grabbing that particular Foundry project endpoint, it allows you to connect with your Foundry project. And inside that, whatever models which are deployed, you'll be able to connect with that using either API key or some other kind of an authentication token. On the other side, you will be having Azure OpenAI endpoint, which is also available. When you want to deal with OpenAI models and you want to associate and connect with them using Azure OpenAI kind of an API key, then you will be using that one. You can see right now in both of these cases, I'm showing you the clear comparison. When you use Foundry project endpoint, you will use Microsoft Foundry SDK, while in this one, you will use OpenAI SDK. So basically the classes and the implementation both will be different. Authentication can be done here with only Microsoft Entra ID, while in this we can do Entra ID or API key. The chat API which you're going to use in the newer Foundry projects are going to be responses API, while OpenAI kind of an API is basically supporting responses as well as chat completion API. If you ask me in our labs which API we are going to use, we will be using both. In some cases, I will use chat completions API. Then in other cases, I'm going to use responses API. And I'm also going to compare the code syntaxes of both. Now, in this particular column, we are specifying that which one is best for which kind of scenario. Suppose if you want to deal with latest OpenAI SDK models and features with the full OpenAPI surface, then you can go with Azure OpenAI way. And suppose if you want Foundry specific capabilities with OpenAI compatible interfaces for Foundry direct models, then you can go with Foundry project. Basically, if you're dealing with the Foundry specific things with all the multiple models, you can go with the Foundry project kind of associations. As I said, in the part of this labs of this particular course, we will be trying both. So don't worry about that. Below this, we have a simple code snippet which is available. In this, we are using API key and base URL to create an instance of the OpenAI client. While in this case, we are using default Azure credential, which is basically a class from Azure Identity, which allows you to authenticate your request and generate a unique token for you. and that is going to associate with the Foundry project endpoint. So basically, this is the code specific changes which are happening. In both, we are going to create a client instance first, and using the client instance, we'll be able to call other functions with that. And that's exactly what we are going to do in the labs. Now, this slide is actually showing you comparison between chat completions with responses API. So left side one is a chat completion API. Remember, this is the older one. The right side one is a responses API, which is the newer one. And the biggest thing which I want you to observe here is syntax wise, more or less both are having some syntax differences which are there. But few things I want you to remember is this. First, state management. In ChatCompletions API, client-side development is going to happen. So basically, state management is happening at the client side, not the server side. And that's why developer stores and send the full messages array every single time. While in the responses API, server-side state management is going to happen. The API is going to store the thread automatically. It's not going to be dependent on the developer actually. When you go with the system prompt, you define the system prompt like this syntax that you specify role, system, and then you provide some kind of a content. While in responses API, we always use instructions. And in the instructions, we provide whatever instructions we want to provide for our generative AI application or agent. This is the important point. When you're dealing with ChatCompletions API, the payload per request is always going to grow with the conversation length. Because as I said, every time it's going to store and send the full message array over a period of time is always going to grow, which is basically not good for performance. While on the other case, responses API is going to have a constant payload per request. In every request is basically going to only send the latest input. Plus, there is something which is a response ID, which is going to be created with that. And because of the response ID, it will be able to keep track of that. So this is something which is a big difference in payload per request. And after this, the last one is showing you how you can access the response, what syntax you do that. In this, you use completions.choices with 0, which is the index association with this, .message.content. And in this, you can directly do response.output text. You'll see both of these things in the lab, as I say. And before you see this in the lab, I'm showing you the comparison between per turn code pattern. Now, as you can see here, in both of this, we are actually following similar kind of a pattern. But the important difference here is the conversational history, which is actually growing with the payload with each turn. So as we discussed earlier, here the first stage is going to be initial state. In the initial state, you just define your conversational message, or in this case, we specify the response ID, which is initially going to be none. Then we add input. So we are going to provide some kind of a user prompt. This is system prompt, this is user prompt in the completion API. And then after this, we are going to create an instance of an OpenAI client using OpenAI client.chat.completions. We will provide our model and we will pass on that conversation messages inside this. On the other hand, responses API is very clean. It's just going to create OpenAI client.responses or create, and everything will be passed here itself. Model name, instructions, which is basically replacement of system messages, input text, which is replacement of your user prompt, and then the previous response ID so that it can keep track of this with multiple requests. And finally, while getting the output, I already discussed that this is a syntax change which is there. And if you want to update the state of this thing, in this case, we have to keep appending the updated messages with the role assistant with this. While in this case, we just have to resonate that with our response ID, which is created with the previous response, and it's going to keep track of that. This is a syntax level change and performance level change also, which is there, which I discussed. So responses API is going to be the better choice compared to ChatCompletions API. Now, this is a code syntax which is showing you how it is going to deal with the using the responses API. I'm showing you that this is going to track the previous response. So initially, it's going to be none. Then you're providing a while loop where you're going to ask user to provide some kind of an input text, which is going to be a user prompt. And then if user is going to type quit, then we are going to terminate this request and it's going to say goodbye. Until that, whatever user is typing, we will be taking that as an input from. We'll be creating the OpenAI client instance with this, and then using that, we'll be able to provide the instructions based on the agent, like you are a helpful AI assistant that explains technology concepts. And then it's going to give you the response. Now, this kind of an output you can expect, like maybe if I ask a question that what is machine learning, it's going to give me an answer of that particular question. Then I can again provide something like this, that can you give me an example? It will remember that particular context, and then it's going to say certainly a simple example of supervised learning would be a model. So it's basically remembering the context and is capable enough to understand the answer with multi-turn conversation. While on the other hand, when I go with this particular one, which is ChatCompletions API, a syntax is going to be different. As I said, you're going to define your system message, you're going to define your user message, which is a prompt. And then after this, when you're trying to get completion, you're passing your model deployment, your conversation message, and you're going to keep appending into that. Now, the answer is going to be like this. For example, if I say, when was Microsoft founded? It's going to give me the answer of that thing. And then if I say, who founded it? It's going to show me Microsoft was founded by Bill Gates and Paul Allen. And then if I do quit, it's going to show me goodbye. Now, this is also going to serve the same purpose, but over a period of time, if you do multi-turn conversation, the payload is always going to increase in this. Well, that's not the same thing for responsive API. Obviously, in order to understand this particular concept in a better way, you need to do this thing practically. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this particular lab, in which we will create a generative AI chat app. Just one thing I want you to remember, in this particular lab, we will be creating generative AI chat app, but this is not an agent. We are not going to create an agent right now. Agent is something which we will be doing in the module number 2, and that's something which is important. So just hang on. This is not an agent. This is just a generative AI app. You will be using your endpoints and keys. You will be dealing with your model, and you will be writing code with the different APIs which are available in this lab. Now, let's do the knowledge check of this particular module. First question is, which endpoint offers the broadest support for OpenAI API with Foundry models? The right answer is Azure OpenAI endpoint. Then, which package must you install to use the Microsoft Foundry SDK in Python? Now, you're going to see this thing in the lab. The package which you're going to install will be Azure AI Projects. This is the main package which is giving you the main class, which you can allow you to instance it with the OpenAI client. And then, which method do you use to generate responses with Response API? The answer of that is client.response.create. I hope you guessed the right answers for this particular one. And if that is true, that's great. Let's go to the next video, which is going to show you lab of module number